Yo, what up, what up, what up? Back with another video, and today I want to talk to you guys about something really, really important, man, in this motorcycle space, in this motorcycle community, right? You know, there's a lot of misinformation going around that would surround content creators about being successful, specifically in the motorcycle community, right? And how to grow your social media content and blah, blah, blah. Well, I kind of wanted to touch on the top 10 myths, right? The top 10 myths about becoming a viral and successful motorcycle vlogger on social media, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, well, they've been banned, but Instagram, you know what I mean, etc. Right. So let's start off with number one, and that is going to be number one. One of the big myths is that you need the most expensive gear in order to be successful, in order to be noticed, right? Success only comes if you have high-end cameras, drones, editing software. But the truth is authenticity and engagement content often matter more than fancy equipment. Many vloggers start with a smartphone, and that's all you really need. Now, I put a lot of these notes on my phone, so I'm going to be reading off some of them just in case it sounds like I'm actually reading, because I wrote down some notes to help stay focused, because I definitely lose focus sometimes. But anyways, let's move on to number two, right? Move on to the number two myth, and that is every ride must be exotic, right? You gotta have the most exotic ride ever. I know you guys watch IMK and you see all his MV Agusas, all his top tier bikes that are almost collectibles in a way, but I say IMK is kind of like the Jay Leno of the motorcycle community right now. He is into high-end special bikes, and there's nothing wrong with that. He's built his channel geared towards that, so that's his focus, and it's an amazing focus, and he does obviously an amazing freaking job. But that is a top 10 myth, right? Is you have to have an exotic motorcycle in order to be seen or noticed on social media, right? Because everybody sees the latest and greatest thing and they want that, right? So the myth is only epic rides and stunning locations will attract viewers as well as your motorcycle. And that's just not true, because a lot of it has to do with you being relatable to your audience. Everyday ride storytelling resonate just as well with your audience, right, than the type of bike you ride, you know, because I always say this a lot, that you can make content with anything, right? You can be on a 250, a 300, 400, 500, 650, etc., right? You don't need a specific type of bike. You don't need to go out and buy the latest, greatest 2025 Ducati Panigale, right, V4 to start your channel. You don't need to do that. Don't do that. All right, so number three, we're going to talk about viral content and how it may happen overnight. There's a big myth that for some odd reason, if you just post the right reel, one of these are going to go viral overnight, right? And it's going to make your channel, is going to make your social platform that much more successful. And the truth is that it just doesn't really happen that way. A single video will not completely turn your channel around in one go. But what it will do, or what it could do, is it could put a big spotlight on who you are and the type of content you make, and that will attract more people. So keep that in mind. Number four, right? Number four, you have to be an expert rider, right? In order to have a successful channel, you got to be an expert rider. It's far from the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's far from the truth. The myth is only professional riders can build a following. That is not true at all. There's actually a lot of professional riders on the YouTube space, on Instagram, and I won't say that they're not successful. What I would say is that just because they are professional and pro riders and they have that license, they have that what do you call it? Damn it. They're known, right? That's their profession. It doesn't automatically mean that they're going to have 1 million followers and whatnot. So becoming pro doesn't mean that you are going to grow. All right. All right, number 5. All right, number five. Let's talk about it. This is a big one, and this one usually hits home for a lot of people, and that's the danger of the sport bike, or the danger of riding equals views. Now, I'm not going to say that that's not true, right? What I will say is that people tend, in the motorcycling community, to gravitate towards more reckless hoonigan videos. Those tend to get a lot more views because it is dangerous, right? People like to see people doing dangerous things and successfully escaping the danger, right? Also, they like to see when you fail. It's just a human psychology thing. But what I would say is that extreme stunts and illegal riding is a way to gain attention, but it is not a good way to keep an audience. See, some people want to go viral just for a clip, but some people have a mindset that if they go viral because of a clip, then that everybody's going to be interested in their content, the rest of their content. You know, the truth is that if you don't continue to put out, if you build your channel, your platform on stunts, or I would just say this, like illegal riding or stunts, right? What you're going to need to do is continue to do and produce that type of content, because the moment you start posting other stuff, they're going to leave. Your audience is going to leave. They're there to see you break the law, right? Either break the law by doing stunts, racing, etc., being a hoonigan, right? And honestly, it just doesn't bode well for your life. You're not going to have a very long lifespan doing all this crazy stuff, all right? And plus, these social media platforms are starting to demonetize people doing those types of that type of riding. Number 6 on the list, right? Number 6 is the myth that you will be successful in the community as long as you're just posting everything about riding, right? Everything about riding. And it's not necessarily the case. Some people think that, you know, as long as I post the videos alone, it's good enough. I'm just by myself. And this is something that I've have been trying to tackle this past year. And a lot of it is going to be due to you having to be social, right? You gotta mix up your channel, right? You can just post a bunch of riding videos. I've seen channels out there where they just have one angle views, you know, on their videos, and they don't talk, they don't do anything. It's just pure riding videos, and there's nothing wrong with that. But you're not going to build a challenge. You're not going to build a channel because you're not trying to relate to anybody. You're not trying to relate with anyone or communicate with anyone. You're just posting riding videos. So, you know, your audience is going to enjoy a lot more than just seeing you ride down a road, right? You know what I'm saying? So mix in some gear reviews, some tutorials, some travel tips, or not even necessarily travel tips, racing tips, or whatever type of riding that you do, whether you're ADV, hypermotor, supermoto, whatever it is, super sport. Mix it up, you know what I mean? The parts you buy for your bike, the service intervals, the maintenance, the cleaning, anything that you do, turn it into content, right? Turn it into content, because it's going to help you. It's going to diversify your channel, and it's going to keep people interested. And then instead of just seeing you riding all the time, right? So make sure you mix that up. Number seven. This is a kind of a controversial one, simply because there's a little bit of truth. It's like a catch-22. And this is about creating content and thinking that it's going to equal more followers. So you do have people that will upload really frequently. They may upload multiple times a day, not very smart. They may upload daily, which is good and could be bad, just depending on the type of content you're producing. But posting as much as possible is not always the key to success. It just isn't. It never really. It's good to be consistent, but sometimes, like I said, it depends on the content that you're putting out. You can put out a lot of bad content and you're not going to get any traction. So you gotta you gotta focus on the quality and the message that you're trying to portray, right? You're trying to get out there. Edited content does keep viewers coming back, but sometimes too much editing will completely throw off your viewers, right? And they won't want to come back. So you got to be careful with that. Number eight, right, is feeling like you need to be on every single platform, right? It's feeling like you need to be on every single platform. You don't need to be on every single platform to be successful. This is one of the things that I started to see when I was getting my channels ready. And part of the reason why I didn't focus on TikTok as much, simply because I felt like TikTok, I had already kind of missed the boat, but we'll talk about that as well. But I'm only concentrating on Instagram and YouTube. I'm not trying to spread myself thin. It just creates more headaches later on when you have all these platforms that you're trying to consistently keep posting to, right? I mean, it can get grueling, it can get tiring, and you can get burnt out. A lot of people get burnt out, right? So more content doesn't always mean more followers, so keep that in mind. And you don't always need to be on every single platform to be successful, all right? Number 9, we talked about it earlier, but this kind of goes in tandem with the type of bike you're buying. The myth is that you need a big bike, right? You need a big bike in order to be noticed and successful. Only the vloggers with the most powerful and most expensive motorcycles will gain the traction, right? So you see Fastlane D and IMK, you see they got Ninja H2Rs and Ninja H2s, and you're a new rider and you want to motovlog. And so, you may have the means to go get a Ninja H2, but you think that's the way to go. Like, I got to go buy the best, right? That's not always the case. I had another influencer who, man, he makes really good content. He got rid of his S1000, and then he picked up a 2022, I believe, Ducati V4 after about a year or so. And he recently made a video saying that he's going to go trade it in and get a 2025. And his channel is, I won't say technically established, but he has about 9,000. So I would say he has an established channel. And that's fine, right? That's fine. But even so, I made sure I left him a comment and I told him, I said, hey, don't just feel like you have to go and get the latest and greatest thing to compete for attention on social media, because people do tend to look at the newest and best things and pay attention to them. But it doesn't always mean that if you go buy something, the most powerful thing, because you have the means, doesn't mean it's going to equal social media success, right? So keep that in mind. Any bike from scooters to cruisers, like I said, 250s, I mean, you can do 150s, I mean, dirt bikes, it doesn't matter. You can make engaging and relatable content with any of those vehicles, right? You just have to be creative, right? You got to be creative. Don't follow the Joneses, man. Don't keep up with the Joneses. Be your own person and focus on your content, what you can do. The last but not least, number 10, the market being too saturated. That is a huge, I've said it myself before too, so I'm guilty of this as well, is believing that the market that you're trying to break into, or that the community that you're trying to be a part of, is already too saturated. That is one of the biggest myths and one of the biggest reasons for why people don't create as much, as often, or even at all, period, right? There are already too many motorcycle content creators and vloggers and motovloggers who are super successful on that top tier, right? Like the Fastlane Ds, all the guys that we watch, man, SK1 Rafa, all these guys, right? Those guys, ZX10s, those guys are established channels. And so sometimes as enthusiasts ourselves, we say, damn, I'll be starting a channel from zero, man. I'll be starting a channel from zero. Like, there's no way I'll ever be able to have a successful channel or anybody would pay attention to me, right? And so a lot of people don't create simply because of that reason. It's not right, man. So all you have to do is learn how to tell unique story, like have unique storytelling abilities, right? I wrote some more stuff down. Your personality. Make sure you choose your niche and your angles. Beginner tips. Talk about beginner tips. Vintage bikes. Whatever you're into. If you're a female rider, talk about things that relate to female riding, right? Because that's going to be your audience. Guys are going to naturally gravitate to female riders because they just want to see them. But women also want to be able to tap into the females, right? You want to get your audience in, right? So you want to be talking about different things based on what you like. You know, I say it all the time, like I used to think that if you didn't have a super sport, like a 600 or bigger motorcycle, that you weren't going to be able to create any content with it and nobody was going to pay attention. And it's just not the case. It don't matter what you got. You can have an ADV, anything, man, and you can make it happen. People are in tune with you, not necessarily the equipment or the vehicle that you're riding. That's part of it, but they also want to see a personality. So, you know, concentrate on you. Make the content that you feel is pleasurable, and things that, you know what I'm saying? Like, make sure it's something that you want to do. One of my pet peeves is when people tend to ask their community, what do you want to see? To me, it's not the best thing to do as a creator. Ask your audience what they want to see, because they're already there to see you and what you're already doing. So I wouldn't go that route to start asking and holding like polls and stuff from your community all the time and let that get to the point where it dictates the type of content you make. You see people out there that make track videos from established YouTubers, you know, like the IMKs, etc., you know, for example, and they'll make track videos where they're literally at the track, and those videos for them don't do too well. And, you know, you got to really sit back and wonder why. You know what I'm saying? You got to wonder why. And then you have to also wonder who it does attract, who wants to see that stuff and who doesn't. You know, in the community, like I said, when we're talking about being professionals, racers don't necessarily compute or transfer over to social media followers and support. And that's the case. Not everybody wants to watch track related racing, like real legit racing videos. In the motorcycle community, it's just not very entertaining for some people, and for some other people, it is the ultimate pinnacle of entertainment, to see somebody on a motorcycle to be able to push the bike as hard as it's meant to be pushed, versus watching your favorite YouTuber who just makes street videos. You know, it's where you cannot push the bike as hard as possible, and if you try to, then you get demonetized or something. You know what I mean? So, you know, you gotta pick and choose your audience. You have to know what they're engaged with, but not necessarily asking all the time what they want to see, because you're gonna find yourself making content more often than not that you don't really want to make, that you don't feel compelled to make. So keep that in mind. Make sure you guys always just believe in yourself, be yourself, create more content. Catch you in the next video. Peace.